It's a rough day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Not only has Wizards of the Coast just announced multiple product delays, but on top of that, a bunch of stores are canceling Double Masters 2022 orders.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The Magic Historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends! I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. We're going to talk about the product delays, we're going to talk about the crazy Double Masters 2022 cancellations, and I also want to talk about an interesting little tidbit that has surfaced regarding the 1-block model and the 3-block model and what's more profitable for Wizards of the Coast. But let's start out with the official product delays. In some ways, this is very much what we're accustomed to, right? With the way things are going in the world, Wizards of the Coast seems to be making these announcements like clockwork, and considering how much stuff they're churning out, can we really be surprised? So, this time we're looking at the Warhammer 40K decks. Wizards of the Coast put out an announcement saying that they will be taken from the July release date and flung across the year all the way to October 7th. And it's not just the Warhammer 40k Commander decks that are being affected. On top of that, this affects 3 Secret Lairs. You have the Blood Bowl Secret Lair, the Age of Sigmar Secret Lair, and the 40k Secret Lair. Now with those, Wizards of the Coast hasn't actually announced a specific release date at all. So I imagine that they're going to come out in roughly the same time frame, but I'm not sure exactly what's going down with this. I have to admit, I'm not sure if this really boils down to an issue of there being genuine production delays, or if what's going on financially with the game is actually causing them to strategically move the Commander decks. So obviously there's an easy argument to be made that yes, there are genuine production issues, right? With what's happened in the world, production capacity has been reduced. You've lost a bunch of professional employees who really know what they're doing. So ultimately, we have seen a number of different problems with Magic products. One of the biggest examples would be that recent Double 2022 leak that showed up in the Baldur's Gate set, right? So we've got a scenario where you can say, yeah, you know what? They just can't keep up. And that is totally possible in this case. But what is also possible is that Double Masters 2022 is such a banger product, right? Like, we all know the truth. Double Masters 2022 is essentially cannibalizing everything around it. It is one of the big reasons that Baldur's Gate hit the ground so hard and so fast. And what's happening right now is orders of the set are skyrocketing. We're watching the prices fly up through the roof, and Wizards of the Coast is going to be raking in a ton of bank off of Double Masters 2022. We're going to be seeing more print runs of this stuff for sure because of the amount of money that they can get from this, right? So when it comes to the way that Wizards of the Coast operates as a business, they have to report to Hasbro. They got to keep the money kicking up the chain, right? And Hasbro has to go to the shareholders and go, here's how good we're doing as a company. So maybe what they're doing is going, we're going to have this big cash flow coming in right now at this time of year. Do we really want to have in roughly the same quarter or time frame another massive product? Because these Commander decks for Warhammer 40k, right, especially the Surge foil versions, are stupidly expensive. It's like $600 or something to get the whole set. So maybe they're going, let's move this 40k stuff. We think this might be the other big winner we have this year, because make no mistake about it, Double Masters 2022 isn't just going to affect Baldur's Gate. It's definitely going to end up impacting Dominaria United as well, because people are going to blow their entire cash wad on this set for crazy reprints. And when Dominaria shows up, people are going to be like, sorry, bro, I've run out. Maybe I'll be good by the time Brothers War comes along. So maybe Wizards of the Coast looked at it. They might have accountants in there going, yo, we're going to pull in all this money. This is projected to pull in this money, but then the rest of the sets for the rest of the year, maybe not pulling in so much money. So we take this product, we throw it all the way down here, and now we kind of balance out our revenues across the entirety of the different quarters. Again, that's just me theorizing. It could totally be down to genuine production issues because, let's be real, Wizards of the Coast wants you to buy 1 million products. So this actually leaves us in an interesting position where we're going to kind of get a little bit of breathing room by taking the 40K commander decks and going, get all the way down to October. Now the July to August schedule looks kind of wide open. Now I wouldn't be surprised if Wizards brought out some surprise product. Maybe some Secret Lairs will be quickly cobbled together, because at the end of the day, that's a great product to slide in out of nowhere. All you have to really do is get some digital mock-up images, which can take, I don't know how long it takes for artists to make the art, or if they somehow decide to make Secret Lairs using slush art. Why didn't I ever think of that? That'll happen at some point. Wizards of the Coast will start to make Secret Lairs using art they've already paid for. They'll go, yo, take these, put them together in a concept that works so that we can sell it. We're not at that point, but what I'm trying to say is Secret Lairs are an easy product to make and slide in, and we're looking at what, like a 2-month window with almost nothing coming out, and that feels very strange in terms of Magic products for the current era, right? So we're gonna have to see how it goes in that regard. Now, Double Masters 2022, like I said, is cannibalizing sales, and that actually leads in to the second part of the big news of the day, and that is game stores. All these stores are canceling Double Masters 2022 orders. Now, the sort of stuff I'm about to describe always happens to a certain level when it comes to Magic, but it usually happens at a low level and really isn't the type of behavior you will see widespread, right? Most of the time, stores will honor whatever kind of pre-orders are being made, but we are seeing behavior where basically what happens is the store goes, sorry, we have to cancel your pre-orders, refund your money or whatever it is. We're actually going to be relisting these boxes at these prices. So did you pre-order at $250? Well, we're canceling your pre-order and we're relisting it at $400. Now, this is a pretty sticky situation. On the surface, it's very easy to point at them and go, what are you doing? You made an agreement, stick to it, right? I understand that mentality. It never feels good when you basically are told one thing and another thing happens. So there are a number of organizations out there that do these greedy maneuvers. You'll even see it with single sales, where there'll be a single on for a cheap price or whatever else. People will order it, and I'm not talking about people who just found out about the price spike, who are like, yo, I found out this card went from $2 to $10, and then I went to try and order it. I don't really feel bad for those people who are like, yo, I saw that this store didn't update their prices fast enough, and I tried to get in on it, and then the store went, hey, you know what, we can't keep on top of prices, so we canceled the order. That, to me, is a situation where you go, that's more understandable. If somebody's placed an order a week before a card spikes and you just haven't fulfilled it, and then you go, we're canceling your order because the price went up, that is where you move into the realm of just, that's bad business. That's scumbaggery, right? So when it comes to this situation with the Double Masters 2022, I've been inside the LGS. I see it from the perspective inside the LGS. You have to make difficult decisions. You have to understand that some people are doing this out of pure greed, but a bunch of these smaller ones are doing it purely out of survival. Because when you do this sort of thing, it's bad for your reputation. People will go, I can't trust you to fulfill your orders. But also what you have to bear in mind, and I've seen this again from the inside, is you'll be at an LGS. Let's say you're the LGS owner. You have all of your regulars, and there's multiple LGSs in the store and the vicinity, and they each have their own like crew or whatever. But what'll happen is when there's a really hot product like Double Masters 2022, these people will buy everything they can from their store, and then they'll go around to different stores trying to get whatever they can, and that makes perfect sense. Everybody wants everything they can get. But as a store owner, if you have a list of people that you've allowed to pre-order these boxes, and a bunch of them are regulars, and some of them are people you know literally only buy these hot products off of you, and only want to buy them at bargain basement prices, and always want to grind you and all this stuff, canceling their orders, are they even really your customer? Or are they just taking advantage of the few products that you get that are actually full-on saleable while ignoring everything else? There's a lot of kind of gray in between, right? It's not so cut and dry. So on one hand, anybody who gets stuff pulled from them, I understand. But on the other hand, the stores are in a brutal spot right now. Anybody who runs an LGS who's been doing this for a while knows the writing's on the wall. They saw what happened with Baldur's Gate, and it's probably going to happen with Dominaria United. So Double Masters 2022 is where your store is going to make its money for the entire year. You can't be guaranteed that any other product is going to do anything for you. The only thing we can all say for certainty is Double Masters 2022 is such a giant hulking beast that it is squatted down over this entire year, making its presence known. It's just a reprint set, and it dwarfs everything to such an insane degree that all of the conversation about it has been warped, right? Like, it literally took over the entirety of Baldur's Gate spoiler season. The entirety. And think about Dominaria United. Honestly, ask yourself what's happening for the rest of the year in Magic. You go, okay, we got Commander decks coming, right? Yeah, okay, that's later in the year. Oh, yeah, okay. And Infinity, they said that's later in the year. And then what else do we have coming? We've got Dominaria United and the Brothers War. Now, I know the Brothers War is like Mishra and Urza fighting. That's going to be epic, by the way. 1 hour lore video coming out in the next few days over on Fantasy Geographic. Gonna be epic. But anyways, you know what Brothers War is. But tell me what Dominaria United is. Not your guess, not your theory, but what the set actually is. You can't. You can't tell me what it's going to be. Trust me, I know. I've scoured everything on the internet about Dominaria United, and there is so little information that how are you supposed to even get hyped about it? There is no hype, no information about Dominaria United, and that set is being pushed out after one of the biggest frenzies that I've ever seen in Magic. Like, this Double Masters 2022 is a phenomenon that is just, I mean, we're going to see more, like, Wiz is going to do this every year now, right? We're going to get Double Masters next year again. This is going to happen on repeat for as long as they feel like they can milk the master sets. Like, I don't think the takeaway from this year for Wizards of the Coast is going to be, well, you know what? Capenna and these other, like, Baldur's Gate was like a huge failure or anything. I think the takeaway is just going to be, we need to manage our reprint equity even more, right? Because that is what it's all about. Look what they're able to do with cards that already exist. But the problem is, when you live this reprint equity life, you have to bring new cards in to add in new reprint equity. And it has to be created not generically, organically, I should say, over time, right? Like, you can't just go, boom, I've created this state that is the same as the secondary market that's grown over decades. You can't just force it into existence. So we've got a scenario where Double Masters 2022 is bashing the entire year apart, and there's not much anybody can do about it. So the game stores have to go, get all the money you can right now. Am I upsetting my customers? I don't care. I have to survive. Like, that's the level we're at right now. You may not realize that game stores are sitting there in their little life preserver and they're just trying not to get their legs tunked underwater. So, like, bro, sorry, like, I don't want to upset you as a customer, but I have to do this. Now, that's not all LGSs, and I'm certainly not telling you to give any business a free pass, right? Obviously, you make your own decisions based on what's going on with your particular interaction and the business you're dealing with. Because the truth is, there are awesome LGSs run by passionate people who love the game and just want to help it prosper. And there are also incredibly greedy and awful people who get into the business as well. And then there are some LGS owners who were once super passionate and have burned and flared out and they've basically been grinded down to the point where now they're just kind of half dead inside. And it's like, dude, it's all about the numbers. Like, I don't care about your happiness. This isn't about the game anymore. So, you know what? I'm not going to lose a bunch of money to make you happy. This is a business. At the end of the day, if I'm not making money, why am I doing this? And you can't fault a business owner for that. You can't, oh wait, it's not profitable for you to do this because of the setup and whatever, and this is literally the only product you're going to be able to make your proper bank on this year. Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So you just end up with this unpalatable situation for everybody. Now, let's finish off by talking about the 1 set to 3 set block model and the little tidbit that came out via Mark Rosewater that sheds a little bit of light as to what's going on. So, if you're newer to Magic, you might not know this, but in the old days, we had a big set, small set setup, where you would have the big set, which introduced the world to us and kind of laid the groundwork for it. And then the smaller sets would build on the mechanics and the story of the set overall, which allowed for a bunch of fun things to happen, but also could really make it drag. So think about, for example, if you didn't like Streets of New Capenna and we're like, yo, I don't like this mobster world. If they chose to do things in the old way, you'd be like, big set mobster world, small set mobster world, basically the whole year would be mobster world, right? So it's a dicey sort of situation. You make a winner of a world, you're gonna have an awesome time. You make a dog of a world, you're gonna have a nightmare for a year. So they kind of went back and forth. What are we gonna do? They switched it to a model where they said, yo, we're just gonna do one at a time. But then they've tweaked it here and there. You know, War of the Spark was 3. They do sometimes 2 with Innistrad, but ultimately look at how poorly that went. But the sales data, according to Mark Rosewater, says that during the last couple years at least, because you got to understand this hasn't been a huge scale one set block situation for the longest time. But anyways, their sales data says that the single sets do better than the 3 set blocks. So anybody who's hoping that blocks are going to return, I'm saying that's the nail in the coffin for that one. All right. So that wraps up the Mega Magic news. Thanks for coming by, my friends. Big shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. And I will see you all, my friends, for the next video.